Hello and welcome. My name is Krista Whitehorn. I'm a solutions architect here at Amazon Web Services, specialising in our media services. In this session, I'm going to cover the basic components of a live streaming video delivery platform. I will discuss some of the applicable AWS media services, the role they play in the workflow, and a couple of different approaches to consider if you are planning to stream your live video content. If you're unfamiliar with AWS media services, completely new to video streaming, or just want an overview of our capabilities, this session should serve as a great introduction and provide guidance on how you can quickly get started and begin testing. AWS has a long history in live video. Elemental have been providing solutions to customers for both live and on-demand video workflows for nearly 15 years. Whilst Twitch is the largest global platform for building communities around live video content. All of this experience, knowledge and technology has contributed to building our suite of fully managed media services. As you can imagine, there are many applications for live streaming, some of which are shown here. From broadcasters making their services available to internet-connected devices, live sports services, enterprises delivering their town hall meetings to remote employees, fitness companies streaming sessions to audiences, and much, much more. To meet the requirements of this diverse customer base, we created a suite of purpose-built video services that can be used in conjunction with each other, each with a deep set of features and capabilities to help our customers create great video experiences without having to manage any infrastructure. The benefit of this approach is it puts choice and control in your hands. It does mean, however, that it may initially look complex to the first-time user who may not be sure where or how to get started. This is particularly true for those who are not used to working with video or building video delivery platforms. This is, at a high level, what a live streaming video workflow looks like in the context of AWS media services. Some of you who have experience in this area may look at this and say, yep, that makes sense. If you don't, you're looking at this and probably thinking, what does all this mean? It looks pretty complicated. How do I even decide which of these building block services to use? As you can see, I've split the services across 4 distinct video workflows, and I'll step through each of them so that you have some context for later when I show you how easy it is to put them together. Let's start on the left with our camera shooting our subject. We need a device to take the raw video from the camera and send it in an efficient way to AWS. We have a few options here, and whilst I'm not going to dive too deeply into the technology, I'll briefly step through each of them. AWS Elemental Live is a professional-grade rack mount appliance that you install in your own data center. It's available in various models to meet a wide range of needs, from a single-channel device to ones that can run up to 16 simultaneous channels. There are different options for network interconnects and speeds, levels of compute, etc. Each Elemental Live appliance also has its own web interface for control and configuration. Now, one of the complexities we've heard from customers is in setting up the equipment at the source location. It's okay if it's a studio and you have technical or operational resource available that can log into an encoder, make sure it's running, update any settings, but that's often not the case. Elemental Link is a small device that's designed to make the process as simple as possible in a completely configuration-free manner. Prior to launching Elemental Link last year, I managed to twist some arms and get hold of an early unit and decided to put this configuration-free claim to the test with the aid of my then 6-year-old son. we recorded and published a video of the two of us genuinely unboxing the device for the first time, and my son totally figured out how to put it together. I just gave him a cable from the camera, one from the network, and a power board. Once he connected it up, it automatically appeared in my AWS console. It comes pre-configured to your AWS account. And we were streaming within a couple of minutes. In addition to these options from AWS, you can also choose from a wide range of third-party software or hardware tools to encode and send your video into AWS for processing. That leads us into our processing section. This is where we prepare the content, usually by creating multiple outputs of varying qualities, often referred to as renditions. We do this because audiences consuming the stream from mobile devices, computers, or smart TVs are connected over the internet, and therefore we need to cater for a wide range of networks of different and varying bandwidths. By creating multiple qualities, the devices receiving the stream can switch between these different versions to provide the best quality possible given the network performance at that moment in time. It's important to be efficient at this stage of the workflow because you want to make the video as small as possible to reduce your delivery costs, and we'll get to delivery shortly. But at the same time, you want to retain the best possible video quality. These two things are in direct conflict with each other, which is why we put a great deal of engineering effort into continued improvements in our video compression technology. Next, we need somewhere to store the content. Think of this storage, known as a content origin, as the point where we switch from pushing every frame of video from the camera into the cloud and creating our renditions, to the point where our audience starts pulling content as they watch. Now we have two services available here. At a super high level, Media Store stores and passes through the files as created by Media Live in the previous processing step. Now Media Package brings some additional features, such as options to encrypt your content, the ability to reach a wider range of devices by creating different versions of the files on the fly, and by providing DVR-like functionality to allow your users to start from the beginning of a live stream if they join partway through, or to catch up on a program they've missed entirely. Now, you don't want your users to connect to your origin storage directly. In order to scale, you need a content distribution network that will cache content out on the network as close to your audience as possible. The CDN will also enable you to serve a global audience and to add additional security mechanisms to further protect your content if you need. The AWS service for this is, as you can see here, Amazon CloudFront. We also have a monetization service that can insert dynamic advertising into live or on-demand video, but I'm not going to cover it in this session. It's also worth noting that in mid-2020, we launched Amazon Interactive Video Services. As you can see, IVS covers several of the areas we just spoke about in a single service. This is a great option if you're building a user-generated content platform where your users create and publish live content. As the name suggests, it's also designed to enable customers to add interactive elements such as quizzes or polls to their service. IVS also makes it easy to get started because you have a single service to operate with. Now, I'm not going to cover IVS in this session, however, as the focus here is not only on getting started quickly, but also on building a broadcast-grade level of service with a deep set of controls and features and architectural options. Now, I'm conscious that I keep talking about simplicity, yet I'm still showing a diagram depicting multiple services and have just added another one to the mix. You may be wondering, when's he going to get to the simple bit? This is where the Workflow Wizard comes in. The Workflow Wizard is part of the Media Live service, and presents you with a guided 4-step process where you can make a number of choices about what you're trying to achieve, primarily where are you getting the video from and where you want to send it to. The workflow wizard then builds and configures an appropriate pipeline of services depending on the choices you make. Now I've shown you the basics of how the services fit together. I'll share my screen and spend a few moments showing you how to put all of this together using the wizard. Okay, so I've logged into the AWS console. I'm just going to the Media Services and we'll select Media Live. That brings me to the channel configuration. If you have not built any channels in Media Live before, you might see a splash screen. Just open the burger icon on the left, go down to the workflow wizard, and then create workflow. Let's give your workflow a name. Media Live comes in 2 different classes. So a standard class builds a fully redundant pipeline, so different sets of resources in different availability zones. Single pipeline is just a single set of resource. I am going to choose single pipeline for this demo. There we go. Then we need to either select or create an IAM role, so this allows access to other resources. I already have one available here, but you can create one from this console if need be. Then we're presented with a number of different inputs. So we have Elemental Link, Rtmp, MP4, and Media Connect. I'm going to choose Elemental Link. I already have an existing one. I have an option to create one. And I don't really need to do this for Link, but you can change some of the input settings. The wizard provides you with a number of different output types. So you could push to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can see it's given me a number of different outputs for those. You may notice that the resolutions are different and particular to each of the output types. That's because we're pre-configuring which is best for each of those services. Now I don't want to do that. I'm going to pick Media Package. And I'm going to create, if you have one already, you can use an existing resource, but I'm going to create a new one. And it gives me some predefined qualities. I'm just going to remove those and show there's quite a wide list. I'm just going to pick 4 at 25 frames per second and click. I did forget there's 2 different video quality modes. I'm just going to stick with standard. I'll talk about enhanced a little bit later. And create your workflow. And now we see a number of tiles that relate to the resources that's getting created. So I have my media package channel and a number of different endpoints on that media package channel. So that's a different URL. We have our Media Live channel that will be created shortly, and then a CloudFront distribution as well. Let's just wait for the Media Live channel to get going. One of the things that I really like about the Workflow Wizard is that under the hood it uses AWS CloudFormation to describe and create all of these resources. I'm just in CloudFormation now. You can see the stack details, events as things get created, the resources that are getting created, and the template itself. Now this isn't particularly readable to the human eye. We can open the designer, and that shows a graphical depiction of the services, and at the bottom there's the template. Now you don't need to know much about this right now, but it's good to know that there's a software representation of everything that is being created by the wizard. I can see my Media Live channel has been created. While we're waiting, let's just go and have a look at that. So this is the channel. Even though it's created via the wizard, we have full control over all of its settings. So let's just have a look at these settings here. These are all going to be familiar because these are brought through into the wizard itself. If we have a look at the outputs, this is where you can see the deep set of controls that Media Live gives you that we've obfuscated from the wizard because we make sensible decisions about the appropriate ones for your configuration. Okay, so the workflow has finished creating. I can now hit start. This is effectively starting my Media Live channel. It's worth reiterating at this point that at no time have I had to configure or do anything with my Elemental Link device that I'm using to generate the live stream. Let's dive into Media Package. Here we can see the 3 endpoints that were created, and then here's the origin URL. I'm just going to change it to be our CloudFront URL. And let's just drop that into our web player and we'll see our live channel. And there we go, there's Lewis, my dog, obviously hard at work. Oh, it's a tough day at home. And we're now live with our streaming channel. From here, we can continue to control our pipeline. I'm just going to stop the workflow. And we can delete our workflow here, and that will remove all of the resources that we have just created. So to confirm what we just built, I have my camera filming Louis, my sleeping dog, on the output of which I'm feeding Elemental Link. Link is then creating a single, high-quality stream and presenting that as an input to Media Live. I chose to create 4 different video renditions or qualities, ranging from full high definition to a lower quality standard definition one. Media Live then pushes these streams to our media package content origin. The wizard also created a CloudFront distribution and attached that to our media package channel. I and my potential audience, if they were interested in watching my sleeping dog, could then access my CloudFront distribution. And to reconfirm the various options the wizard gave us on the input side, we could have chosen to use Media Connect as our source. I haven't really touched on this yet, but this is a video transport service that enables you to securely transport mezzanine or high-quality video content into, within, i.e. from one region to another, and out of the AWS network. I could have alternatively chosen to use MP4 files stored in either Amazon S3 object storage or any other accessible HTTP location. The final input option we were presented with was Rtmp, which is a very popular protocol supported by a wide range of hardware and software encoders. We had several options on the output side as well. Whilst we chose Media Package, we could have chosen to push our streams to Media Store or directly to various social platforms. The wizard presented specific options for YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. However, you could specify any Rtmp server at this point if you wish. As you may have noticed, but I did not specifically call out, the wizard will let you create multiple outputs if you need to distribute your channel to more than one platform. And not to forget that under the hood, the wizard creates CloudFormation templates that describes all of these services in detail, their configuration, relationships to each other. You can take these templates and deploy them directly or modify them further to meet your needs if you want to take an infrastructure as code approach to deployment. This is really helpful to create repeatable events where you have a defined template that describes your infrastructure, enabling you to deploy consistent, pre-configured workflows. So what's next? Well, I recommend that you just jump in and get started using the workflow wizard. As you saw, it only took a few minutes to get going. From there, I have a few suggestions of areas of additional functionality that you may like to investigate depending on your application. Add motion graphics. This is a feature we added earlier this year and we've been getting some really good feedback on. You can enable Media Live to pull graphic elements from HTML5 web pages and overlay them on top of your video. This is great for adding logos or clocks, scoreboards, or scrolling text to your channel. And since it's relatively easy to author, particularly compared to traditional broadcast-centric graphic systems, it has a lower barrier to begin experimenting with. We have also worked with several third-party graphics providers, including Liger Systems and Singular Live, if you're interested in seeing what capabilities are available out there. We have seen, using the workflow wizard, that you can add different types of inputs, but I did not highlight that you can attach multiple inputs to a channel and use the console or SDKs to switch between them. A great example of where this becomes really useful is where you're running live events. You can start your stream and loop an MP4 holding video or multiple files of preview content while your audience joins, and then switch to your live feed when the actual event starts. Experiment with Enhanced VQ and see how it can deliver even better video quality, or depending on your goal, use it to reduce the output bit rates whilst retaining a similar level of video quality. This latter example can lead to good savings on your CDN distribution costs, even after taking into account the higher Media Live channel costs when Enhanced VQ is enabled. Enable start over windows on your Media Package endpoints. Media Package will store and allow access to up to 14 days of video. As I mentioned previously, you can use this to enable your audience to watch previously live content. You can even control your user's time window by providing start and end times in the playback request. As I showed you, Elemental Link is a managed, configuration-free device that simplifies setup and operational tasks at the on-premise source location. Link is available for purchase directly from the AWS console. As I mentioned earlier, it comes pre-configured for the account from which you order it and the region specified at the time of order. We also have a process to transfer the device between regions or from one account to another if you wish. To accelerate your cloud journey, we have over 550 digital training courses available. Check out the featured courses shown here, build your cloud skills on AWS, or visit the link below. Well, I hope you found this session useful. Please take a few moments to complete the survey. We love to hear your feedback to help us continue to improve these sessions in future. Really appreciate it. Thank you and happy building.